All right, Joe. So all of those footage that you saw were captured using Keyframe. And as I said from the very beginning, Keyframe is such a powerful skill, especially after you get the hang of it. And so what I want to do today is to give you a quick overview of the Keyframe interface, how to change settings and all that type of goodness. And also, I'll be sharing to you some pointers that I found to be helpful in nailing your shot using Keyframe. Okay, so we are now inside the Skydio app. And to find Keyframe, just go to the cinematic skills list. There you would see Keyframe, simply tap on it, and you are ready to add your first key point. If you notice, this interface is rather simple and straightforward. So I'm gonna add my first keyframe. It says keyframe added. Move my drone to the second location. Add one more. Now let's say, for example, you decided you actually didn't want to add that keyframe. So you can just go ahead and undo it and it will be removed. So now I only have one keyframe. Now I'm gonna add that one back. There you go. Move my drone again, exactly where I want it. Position it, and then add my third frame. Let's say, for example, I am done adding my key points at this point. So I'm gonna press done, and the screen will change. There you can see that you are now able to adjust the speed. You do that by sliding it, fastest being 11.2 miles per hour, and the slowest is 0.2 miles per hour. Bring it back to 4.4. Now, looking at this screen, let's say, for example, you actually want to edit your key points. And if you want to edit, say, for example, the second one, just tap on it, it will turn blue. The drone will go to that key point, and once it reaches that, you now have the option to edit it. Let's say, for example, you want to delete it, right? Just confirm delete and cancel that. Also, if I want to add one more key point, or however many points you want to add, if I want press add, you have the option to add before or after. Okay, I'm now gonna add one key point after that, and I would press add, and now I have 4 instead of 3 the first time. Now I want to bring the drone to the very last keyframe. There you go. And now you are ready to execute your flight plan. Just press play, and the drone will start traveling, as you can see. And notice how on the top right corner where it says keyframe, that is also giving you the status of a drone. It says going to keyframe number 1. And we're just gonna keep it go all the way to keyframe number 1. Now that red X at the top right corner, if you press on that, you will have the option to clear keyframes. Press on it, and it says clear all keyframes. I don't want to do that, but you can go ahead and do that if you want to. And then I'm gonna resume. So that's the main screen. Now let's go to the sub settings, and that is on these 3 lines. Press on that, and you have 4 options. First one being the speed, which is very similar to the first screen earlier. It's simply for you to adjust your speed settings. And then below that, you have on-screen speed slider. If you turn that thing off and go back to your main screen, now you don't have the on-screen slider, right? Go back. I'm gonna go back and turn it on. Again, it's right there. Going down to camera style, you have 2 options there. First one is recorded. What that means is that exactly the way you plotted your key points, the camera orientation as well as the drone orientation that's exactly how it's going to travel, and you are not able to change any of that while keyframe is in progress. The other option you have is called free look, and this is personally my favorite because what this allows you to do is that while the drone is going to the different keyframes, you're actually able to adjust your gimbal pitch, and you can also adjust your yaw. It allows for very dynamic shots and a lot of creativity. It's very, very versatile. I like that one. Now at the bottom, the last one where it says clear all keyframes, if you click on that, it would want to confirm if you want to delete all of it or not. Let's say, for example, I don't want to, so I'm going to cancel. Now, at this point, those are all the settings. But there is one more thing that I would like to point out. Let's say, for example, you are done with your flight and you actually went to fly manually. But then, at some point, you would want to go back to keyframe. And there you go, you're back. Notice how all the keyframes are gone. And it's now asking you to add your first keyframe. But I don't want to do that. I want to load the previous one, go back to that 3 lines, and where it says delete all keyframes earlier, you now have load previous. So if I tap on load, now I am back to the key points that I plotted earlier. And the beauty of this is, say for example, you ran out of battery, and so you have to land and then change, and you took off again, and you want to go back to same exact keyframes from earlier, do the same thing, and you should be able to retrieve those. Now, as far as like how many keyframes are you able to save, in my experience, I was only able to do 1. And you can only load those ones if you are on the same location and you're able to take off on the same exact spot. So remember that. And yeah, that is all there is for the keyframe interface. Like I said, it's very, very simple and very straightforward. And it's just a matter of getting yourself familiarized to it and practicing a lot. So I suggest, go ahead and do that, play around with it, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. After over a month of using Keyframe with the original Skydio 2 Plus, I have 3 things to share to you guys that I found to be really helpful when using this skill. The first one is to plan your flight well. Ultimately, as I said earlier, this is going to determine how good your footage is going to come out. And the thing is, unlike third-party apps where you could download the map for that location and then set your flight path, you can't do that with Keyframe. You have to be in the actual location to do that. And when you are there, that's also the only time that you can change the settings, because your drone has to be up in the air for you to be able to play around with the settings. So I would take my time planning my flight, which leads me to the second point, and that is to have extra battery and extra space in your memory card. Now, when planning your flight, you actually spend most of your battery juice doing that. Say 5 minutes of plotting your points, and then your actual footage, usable footage, would only be 1 minute. The good thing is that, let's say for example, you have plot all your points and then you ran out of battery. Now you would have to land and change that. Again, as I have showed earlier, once you are up in the air and you're on the same location, you could actually go ahead and load those keyframes and then execute your flight plan. But then again, it consumes battery, so you have extra battery. And then what I also do is to make sure that I am recording the entire time, even when I'm still, just plotting my points. And that is to make sure that I have a backup footage should something goes wrong. And then the third and last one is to keep your shot simple. It doesn't have to be complicated, guys. In this example, I only use 3 keyframes, and it may sound like, oh, it's very simple, you know, this is something that I could just do and accomplish flying manually. But it's not really. This is rather a difficult shot to nail with flying manually. And yet, with the help of keyframe, I was able to do it with ease. And it's a very, very simple shot. But that's what I like about it. You know, you can use it to accomplish simple or complicated shots. But most of the time, simple shot is all you need. All right, guys, that is all I have for you. And let me know if you guys have any other questions. I'd be happy to answer them. Or if you want me to demonstrate an actual keyframe in the field with the footage unedited, I can do that for you as well. Anyway, fly safe, guys, and I will see you on the next one.